Here's another interesting chart. We're talking about like the long-term, short-term thing. This is the supply held by long-term holders. So the way Glassnode classifies this is they use a certain threshold. So they, these people are like insanely smart. Like the CTO of Glassnode is like an ex-neuroscientist. So they do all kinds of heuristics and statistics to do this stuff. But they ran a statistic study on the behavior of different entities on the blockchain. And they found that when you go past a certain threshold, the likelihood of those entities selling just drops off dramatically. And so that threshold is 155 days or exactly 5 months. And so that's how they distinguish long-term versus short-term holders. And so this chart is looking at the amount of supply held by long-term holders. And actually, this might be more useful. I can compare it to the short-term holders. Sorry, just give me a sec.
What is your personal strategy? Are you like fully got your core position taken out? Are you still cost averaging? Are you?
Yeah, sure. I mostly hold, right? So I hold like 75, 80% of my Bitcoin. And then I trade that smaller portion based off mostly on-chain flows. But I do look at, some things like TA, order book analysis, and some other things just to get a more well-rounded view.
As far as this dip in the last 3 months, though, you have already bought the dip.
Yeah, I've just been slowly building up a position kind of in the bottom of that range, kind of between 30, 35K, and, scooped up a little below 30K, but mostly I was just averaging in that range because I was seeing, mostly on-chain that kind of reaccumulation phase.
Cool.
So this chart here is looking at the supply held by long-term holders versus short-term holders. So.
Blue is long-term.
Yes, blue is long-term holders, and then this kind of weird gold-brown color is short-term. And so what you see is, sorry, let me move. I had the Zoom thing in front of my cursor. What you see is throughout, in a general sense, in bull runs, you see long-term holders distributing their coins, while short-term holders would probably be useful if I had the price in here, right? What you see is in general, long-term holders distribute their coins into strength, right? So this is the smart money in the space that's been in for a long time, and so they know, retail will come in and FOMO in during bull markets. And we have these crazy overextended rallies where speculation just comes in and drives the price way up, and so this smart money starts, scaling out. Let me change the color of this so it's not confusing. They start to scale out when we really start running up. So here you'll see, we'll just look at the 2013 bull run, and then we'll look at 2017 and now. So here in 2013, once again, the bottom line is short-term holders, right? And the top line is long-term holders. Going into the first, rally in 2013, short-term holders started buying, and then you see that long-term holder chart that started trending down. So you had distribution to those short-term
right. Short-term holders are buying the tops of all of these rallies.
Yes, exactly. And for lack of better words, it's smart money distributing to dumb money. That's just the truth. When you get into kind of this midway point here, what's interesting is you actually started to see long-term holders accumulating again in between the two double pumps. And this is why I think this is interesting, because it's similar to what you're seeing now, but we'll get to that when we get down there. So yeah, you started to see price was going down. All the speculators started scaling out. Long-term holders started buying in because, this was like from peak to trough, like an 85% drawdown to the bottom between the two 2013 double pumps. So you started to see long-term holders scoop up those cheap coins. And then when we rallied again, you saw speculators come in and drive that price up into that euphoric blow off top while those long-term holders scaled out once again. Here we head back into the bear market, and here you see once again, short-term holders moving out. Bitcoin isn't going up insane amounts, so speculators leave, and it's not fun anymore. But the long-term investors with real conviction, they're gobbling up these cheap prices. They're buying heavily, right? So then we head back into the 2017 bull market. And then once again, you start to see these short-term holders starting to buy up, and you start to see here the long-term holders begin to scale out once again. And so you see that distribution into the blow-off top. Here, literally right at the blow-off top, you have this max distribution between the two, and then you see once again the long-term holders begin to buy. It's just this beautiful divergence between the two things. And you can really see how the money that's been in for a long time, they have conviction in these lower prices. When all the people that are new to the space are freaking out, these people are stepping in and buying very heavily. And once again, here we are in the current, current bull run that we've been in. Short-term holders coming in, long-term holders began scaling out kind of towards the end of the year and kind of mid-October of last year. And then you got to kind of the peak around late March, early April. But what's interesting is that now long-term holders have started buying again while short-term holders have begun selling. And so there's 4 other instances that we just looked at where this happened. So at the end of the bull market here, there's 3 other instances. And then here between the two 2013 double pumps. And this is where the long-term holders actually were buying, right? And then you can also look here technically, but I wouldn't say this is quite as dramatic as this, but you did also see halfway through the bull market that short-term holders began selling off and long-term holders kind of like pushed, the bull run into that kind of final phase. But I would say this is really kind of a better representation of where I believe we are now, where you have long-term holders kind of coming in and set the floor. But zooming in, I mean, long-term holders are buying at like
you're saying you think it's comparable to the beginning of 2017 is what you're saying.
Well, kind of late 2016, or in my opinion, mid 2013, just in the sense that you have this kind of mini bear phase, and the long-term holders and kind of strong hands are coming in and setting that floor.
By the way, how long do you think, because if it's like comparable to, mid 2013 cycle, but even more so, if it's comparable to like late 2016, to me, that would imply we still have like a long time before we reach the eventual top. How far do you think are into this cycle? How long do you think it'll go?
Yeah, sure. It's a great question. I don't really look at timing, to be honest. I think that's just like really hard to predict. And we only have 2 sample sizes, right? We only have 2013 and 2017. So to like try to extrapolate the timing, I don't really find that useful, to be honest. But I try to look for like the similar behaviors and then try to kind of estimate what's going to go on in kind of intermediate term. Obviously, like what goes on months from now, I can't really tell because I can only look at what the data is saying now. We'll figure that out when we get there. But the way I see it is like the timing could extend out to, mid 2022. It could be the end of this year. I just personally have no idea about the exact timing, but I do see us having this kind of second run up.
Yes, great clip. To watch the full conversation, there is a link down below in the video description. And if you're interested in learning more about cryptocurrency, click subscribe. We drop a video every single day. You do not want to miss one. Like always, see you tomorrow.